Tshegofatso Pule's alleged murderer goes on trial today. Tshegofatso is accused of masterminding the death of the 28-year-old in 2020. He was arrested in February after the man who physically killed her, Tshegofatso, implicated her in the murder. But even though he wasn't present at her murder, Shoba faces a Schedule 6 charge of premeditated murder, conspiracy to commit murder, as well as defeating the ends of justice. Pule was 8 months pregnant at the time of her death. Her body was found hanging from a tree with multiple stab wounds.
Staying with that brutal murder, eNCA is at court today. And for more on this, we crossed to our reporter Silindelo Masikane to find out what we can expect on day one. Slee, thanks so much for joining us. I believe the NPA says it is ready to proceed with trial.
Certainly so. We know that for majority of the appearances of Tshegofatso, the state has maintained that it has a strong case against him, saying that they aren't really relying only on the confession of the killer of Tshegofatso Pule, and we understand that the trial is set to begin today. Tshegofatso had once again tried to appeal his bail, which was denied on 2 occasions in the magistrate's court. He once again did try on his last appearances to get bail once more ahead of the trial, but he was once again denied bail, reasons being that he is a flight risk. But I am joined by the spokesperson of the Tshegofatso Pule Foundation, Ms. Modisane. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. You know, it's a big day, I think, for the family, for friends. What are we hoping for? What are we hoping to get once this trial does get underway?
Sure, thank you so much. I must say that honestly, it's a very anxious time for us. Bittersweet. We're happy that the trial is finally beginning, and equally so. As much as we know that we do have a very strong case, the state does really have a strong case, and I'm not sure if you might have seen already, but it has been revealed that we actually do have 16 witnesses, going for the case. So I think what's ours is that we just want to see the emotional roller coaster done and dusted with. And once this gets started, I'm hoping that it won't really drag as much as we're all anticipating, so that we can just finally let it rest and make peace, and so that justice can be served.
How has this year been? It's a little bit over a year since Tshego's death, and finally we're starting to see the wheels of justice turning. How has this year been for the family?
To be honest, we've all been hanging by a thread, we've all been hanging by the thread. We've had to really rely on each other for support. The beauty about this is that so much support has been given to us. It wasn't just support that lasted for the period of the funeral, but throughout, which is also what inspired the birth of Tshegofatso Pule Foundation. So it has been a tough year, but it's one that has also forced us to dig deep inside ourselves and say, you know what, newfound strength. It is a different situation, but the very same assistance that we've been receiving, the very same love that we've been receiving, let us also start spreading it. Hence the birth of Tshegofatso Pule Foundation, where we've started taking on so many more cases and saying, you know what, we are going to make sure that whoever that suffers the very same way or similar to how Tshegofatso did, let us stand against GBV and then fight for these people and give them the very same support, because once the cameras are shut down, there's nobody to support these families. So we've taken, it's given us new strength, hence we've ended up starting this foundation.
As we go into the trial, Botlhale, we're going to see a lot more focus on Tshegofatso, and the evidence against him. But what would the family like South Africans to remember about Tshegofatso?
We would love for everybody to remember her for the flamboyant person, and lively young girl that she was, for the ambitious person that she was, because she was very futuristic in every single thing that she did, be it fashion, be it her makeup, but most importantly, she was such a fighter. We want everybody to remember her for that. But then also, we want everybody to remember the fact that Tshegofatso's name is one that birthed for us to be able to reach out to many more families. So she has multiplied, just like we watched and, when Mama Winnie passed on and everybody just started suddenly wanting to do greater things in her name. Tshegofatso wanted greater things for herself, and now we're going to continue doing greater things in her name. So this is one name that will definitely not be forgotten. She will go down in the history for greater things that will follow after her name.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're right. I think that's where we can leave it for now, eNCA. Court proceedings are expected to start at around 10 a.m. this morning, and as Ms. Modisane has alluded, that we are expecting at least 16 witnesses that are going to be brought by the state.
All right, thank you so much to Silindelo Masikane, our reporter, who is covering that trial for us today.